How's it going, everybody? Well, sorry about the quality of this video if it turns out crappy. I'm using my phone because my PC crashed, but I just wanted to talk for a minute about free media. Where do you get your news? You know, I've always been under the impression that pretty much all media is controlled by the big conglomerates, and therefore I pretty much have never trusted anything that I hear on the news or on television. However, sometimes I run across a show that makes me wonder, and I ask myself, if everything's really suppressed these days, then why are people talking about certain things? So rather than just go out and cry, conspiracy like I always have in the past, and just assume that everything is controlled, I was curious because I watch HBO, and I never had it before, but it came free with my internet. It was like the package thing. I don't watch cable, but I get this HBO Go on my devices, and I watch that through my television. So the shows that I like Bill Maher. He's like one of my favorite, political type personalities. He's a funny guy, and he's very he's got all kinds of ego issues and problems. He's just a human, He's an asshole sometimes, and he acts like a child sometimes, but I love the guy, And I've always liked him, Jon Stewart, of course, and various other characters are, Colbert was one of my faves. But point being that he also owns the show. Bill Maher also owns the show Vice. I don't know if you've ever seen that, but it became pretty big, and now HBO has Vice. Vice goes around the world basically exposing all the things that are, are issues. A recent one was about like depleted uranium shells. So anyway, they're talking about things that generally the government, the military, wants to keep quiet. And I asked myself, why are they talking about it? So I started doing research on who owns what. And I got in there and I started looking and figuring out who owns HBO, who owns Fox. And I started, because I've always been under the impression that Rupert Murdoch, and his cronies basically own it all. Well, it turns out that last July, Rupert Murdoch actually put in an offer for $80 billion to buy Time Warner, which owns HBO and CNN and various other channels. And it's a very liberal type organization, if you will. Rupert Murdoch is a very non-liberal type person. In fact, he's not even born in America. He was born in Australia. And he did all kinds of, he has all kinds of problems in his life that he's run across, issues. He got busted for tapping people's phones and stuff, and a couple of years ago, when he was 68, he married a 30-year-old Chinese woman, and to me that shows a little bit of insecurity in that degree. If you can't find someone... Anyway, I'm not going to go into the judgmental part of it. Basically, the point is that the guy's kind of a douchebag, and most people know that, and that's my opinion anyway. And he was rejected on his offer for $80 billion. And then later he said he withdrew his claim, and he tried to make it look like he never wanted it anyway. But he wants HBO. And just knowing that made me question my belief that all media is totally controlled, because if there really are liberal stations left that can actually provide us information, we need to preserve those. So instead of just saying TV sucks, TV's a lie, we have to remember that a lot of America gets their information through the television. So rather than telling people don't watch TV, go to the internet for your news, I think we need to look at it from a different angle and realize if this is the tool that people are going to use, we need to figure out where to direct people. So I guess that's the point of this video. So if people want to know what's really going on, I'm directing them to shows like Bill Maher and Vice, because these are the shows that expose the reality of what's going on. Vice is probably the best show on television as far as exposing corruption, greed, genocide, everything. And I think they're on season 2 or 3, but I went back and watched every episode. And phenomenal show. And I'm sure that Murdoch would love to get his hands on that. So if more people are supporting these stations that are less controlled by the right and more liberal, such as Time Warner appears to be, then even if they are all controlled by conglomerates, at least we can say that, we're getting the information that we need to get. A lot of people hate Bill Maher. And that's why I brought him up, is because you either love him or you hate him or you just don't know or care. And to me, I think that he's basically putting it right out there by saying, he said the other day that if Rupert Murdoch buys HBO, then it'll be like instead of Real Time with Bill Maher, it'll be Drooling Time with I can't remember the guy, Dooley, like one of these news guys I'm not familiar with, probably from Fox News or something, I don't know. But if I'm not mistaken, I don't think that Rupert Murdoch owns Fox News either. He may. I think that it's owned, I can't remember the name. There's like 4 major companies that own everything. And as far as who's tied to what, we don't know. If somebody owns all of them, but the fact that Rupert Murdoch tried to buy HBO shows he doesn't own HBO. And that should be enough for me. So anyway, I'll let it go at that, and I hope you all have a great day. And give yourself a little bit of leeway to look at the news, even if it appears that everything's bullshit. Because there's a lot of truth out there still. I don't know how long it's going to last, but it does exist. Take care.